bars for paper. Fuck doing a favor. Bitches catch vapors, haters catch skyscrapers. My man caught 98 years for that caper. Savor the flavor, I get bank from the majors. Fetty contagious, my whole team eat well.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today I'm going to talk to you about some new fragrances that Parfums Vintage has released. Now, you guys know I really like what Parfums Vintage does. A little bit different than what Dua does, right? Dua finds scents to clone, and they go to chemists and they get them cloned, whereas with Parfums Vintage, Damien Stammers does the work by himself. You know, he gets these, gas chromatography reports, and he sort of perfects the fragrances. And what he likes to do is go back to when the fragrances were made a certain way and sort of re-perfect those fragrances or improve upon their performance. They've gotten, their fame obviously through Aventus. You can go through the many videos that I've done, but he's coming up with some new things. I was lucky to get some new samples from some of the stuff he's working on, and I got a bunch of stuff, even some real samples of things that might never come out, sort of modification, original variants, and I'm going to talk to you quickly about 4 of the things that he's done pretty recently. First, there are 2 new, I believe, Silver Mountain Water replicas. The first one is Alpine Winds, and the second one's Alpine Winds Intense. I'll talk to you quickly about the Intense version and the notes on Silver Mountain Water. For those of you who don't know: bergamot, mandarin, orange, green tea, black currant, galbanum, musk, sandalwood, and petitgrain. $95, I believe these guys are. The Intense version has a metallic ink note that's not listed on original Alpine Winds, and I gotta tell you, it smells like vintage Silver Mountain Water. I'm lucky enough to have a old Silver Mountain Water sample from when they came in the green flacons. I have a Militant Imperial Green Irish Tweed and Silver Mountain Water samples from older Creed, and this does smell like that older version. Now, I have to let you know, I've never been a fan of Silver Mountain Water. It's not a Creed fragrance that I own. I know a lot of women that really enjoy it. I think it's a great unisex scent. It's not something that I personally enjoy, so I've never bought it. I get why people really like it. I find that metallic, that inky note to be just a little too bitter for me. But I think this smells like older batches of Silver Mountain Water. I really haven't smelled the newer ones, to be honest with you. I've heard a lot of the newer Creeds. There's issues with the materials they're using, so I would think if you're looking for a better version of Silver Mountain Water, you don't like the current version, this would be a good fill-in. So again, as someone who doesn't like it, I can just tell you that this smells like the older batches that I've come across. The next one is Invictus Aqua Clone, the 2016 version of Invictus Aqua, which people go nuts for. And I guess it's just called Aqua from Parfums Vintage. I think they have an Intense version as well. Let me just go check that for you. But I'm fairly sure they do have an Intense version of Aqua. They have an Aqua Intense. And I have a old, I have it in 2016 Invictus Aqua sample. The notes on Invictus Aqua are yuzu, pink pepper, grapefruit, violet, seawater, gaiac wood, amber, and ambergris. And yeah, it smells like that vintage. And the vintage is very watery. You do get like a lot of ambergris and amber wood. It's salty. It's sort of got a lot of sea notes in it. It's a good fragrance. Again, it's not something that I love, so I can't tell you, hey, I would say you need to buy this. If you like 2016 Invictus Aqua, again, I think this is a really good clone of that, but it's not, it's not my cup of tea. I would get this version certainly over the newest Invictus Aqua version, which I just think is not very good at all. This definitely does smell like the 2016. Now, the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you guys about, they did Isla Tropical and Isla Tropical Privé. These are Virgin Island water clones. And they have, by the way, I believe for Invictus Aqua, it's $95 for the 50 ml and $89 for the 50 ml for the non-intense version. So $95 for the Invictus Aqua Intense. Isla Tropical and Isla Tropical Intense have notes of lime, coconut, bergamot, mandarin, hibiscus, jasmine, ylang-ylang, sugarcane, white musk, and rum. There are lime terpenes listed in the intense version, and man, this is crazy how much this does smell like Virgin Island water. It's nuts. I have the Privé and I have a sample of the original. The Privé definitely feels like it has the lime note amped up a little bit. I have an older bottle of Virgin Island water. I want to say it's from 2013. And this smells exactly like that. And it probably performs a little bit better if I'm being 100% honest. Again, I don't have experience with the newer Creed batches. The only newer Creed fragrances that I'm anyway interested in is Viking, which I want a bottle of at some point, and I gotta check out Aventus Cologne. I haven't smelled it yet, but I'm just not. I haven't gone through my older bottles of the things that I want. But this smells like OG Virgin Island water. It's like 1-to-1. It's crazy. So I think really good job done here. I would get a sample of this. I would get a sample of the new Creed Virgin Island water, and then decide what floats your boat, because it's going to cost you like $90. VIW is going to cost you, I think Creed's charging like $400 now or something like that for their 100 ml bottles. So you got to decide. And then the last thing, there's a citrus number 1 and I believe a citrus number 1 intense. And the notes on these are bergamot, green notes, neroli, nutmeg, cardamom, jasmine, pink pepper, vetiver, patchouli, guaiac wood, amber, and Virginia cedar. And this is a clone of Xerjoff Neo. So to be 100% honest, I think I have an old Neo sample, again, from probably like 2015, I would say. And I feel like the Neo sample is a little bit more green, but this is really close to Neo. Some people think Mosaic by Imaginary Authors, which was just re-released for a limited time, was a Mosaic. Mosaic was a Neo clone, and I love that one. I feel like this is sort of in that vein. It's not quite Neo, but it's really, really close to Neo. It's got that green, almost like wet stone note thing going. It's really good. It's really close to Neo. Like, I've never loved Neo, to be honest with you. Again, like, I had a chance to get a free Xerjoff bottle from a contest that I won from Brooklyn Fragrance Lover a long time ago, and I chose Kobe. But this is really, really close to Neo. So look, all I can tell you is, like, I don't, with the exception of Virgin Island water, I don't love any of these 4 fragrances, but I can tell you they're all right there. Certainly with Virgin Island water being, to me, the closest. Silver Mountain water clone, right there. Invictus Aqua clone, right there. Virgin Island water, right there. And the Neo clone, I feel like, is, for me, I feel like the Creeds are closer. And even Invictus Aqua, I feel like this one smells like Neo, but it's not 100% there. But man, if you like these fragrances, definitely check these out. Give them a look. Now, there's also, I'll do a video in the future. Damien did release a fragrance called Parfums, which I think is a Gucci Envy clone. And that one knocked my socks off, because I love Gucci Envy. And this really smells like Gucci Envy. I think it's better than all of these. So I'll get to that in some time. But for these 4, yeah, man, like, just what you'd expect from from Parfums Vintage. Just very good quality replica fragrances or interpretations. I don't know if like it was my company, I probably wouldn't do 2 versions of each. I would probably just do one and try to nail it and make it better, but it is what it is. And you know, I always say try the original, what the best original you can get, right? If it's a vintage version, if it's a new version, try these and then decide which one makes sense for you financially in terms of which fragrance you really prefer. And if they're really close and there's a huge price disparity, do what makes the most sense for you. If you have the money, buy the original. If you don't and you feel like they're close enough, get the interpretation. But that's really on you. I can tell you all of these are really close in my estimation, with the Virgin Island water being like unbelievably close. So that is my take on these. I will link in the description to Parfums Vintage. You can check them out. I'm always sort of happy to be able to I know people not everyone loves the replica game, but I really just enjoy the science and seeing how close people are able to get their interpretations to the original. So it's fun for me. And you guys have to make the determination what you want to wear, obviously. You know, some cases I think the interpretations make sense. Sometimes I think the originals make sense. It's all on, the wearer. That's it, guys. Linking the Parfums Vintage in the description, and I'll see you again real soon in
This
the
the
video.
reason I was called in. Niggas stalling, posting weak songs for calling. My world different, truthfully I must admit it. Sidestep critics, up in the ER admittance. Keep my distance, niggas sick with the symptoms. I got 5 bitches that's dying for me to pimp.